check out Wrestling Travel. They're a great sponsor for us. They help us with so many different events, so many different traveling injuries. They are the greatest. They've been seen at Starrcade, Warrior Wrestling, you name it. Wrestling Travel is one of the premier traveling organizations for pro athletes such as ourselves.
Wow, what a start that was now with our new upgraded podcast every single Thursday live here now on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. So a lot of places watching us for the first time this afternoon. My name is Danny here at Wrestling Travel, and I'm joined by three fine gentlemen today. First, we've got our US representative, the host of the Lockdown Sessions, Justin Clapper. We're also joined by SP3 from True Heel Heat and Alex McCarthy, Wrestling Daily, and also Sports Kita. And we've also got UK ring announcer and commentator, the Mad Dog, Mike Angus. Welcome, fellas, to today's show. But first of all, congratulations are in order to True Heel Heat. 1,000 subscribers now on YouTube. Some fantastic content from the guys and gals over there on the channel. They're absolutely fantastic achievements. Any words, SP3, about your achievement?
Well, thank you to you guys, first of all. You know, definitely being on here, getting the expertise of the Clap Man and Danny, and of course the Mad Dog always helps out in spreading the word for our YouTube channel. And thank you to everyone who has supported us and subscribed. If you haven't already, please subscribe now. But we have daily wrestling content. We like to kind of cover all the bases when it comes to professional wrestling. So whether it's a review on Major League Wrestling, NWA, New Japan, AEW, or WWE, you can find it all on True Heel Heat. So we're very happy. Our team is very excited for what's to come, and we're just going to keep pushing it forward. And to the next milestone we go, we're trying to catch up to Wrestling Travel and the great work you guys are doing over there on YouTube, like this show right here live. It feels good, and we're live.
Pal. Yeah, no, a fantastic achievement there, SP3, and certainly wish all the rest of you guys and gals over there a fantastic well done from all of us here at Wrestling Travel. But there is plenty to get through on today's episode, including some WrestleMania package news as well coming soon. But first of all, we want to pay our respects to Butch Reed, who sadly passed away just recently. Justin, can you tell us a little bit more about Butch Reed?
Oh, man, there's so much to say about Butch Reed before he even formed the tag team with Ron Simmons as Doom, you know, a groundbreaking tag team. Man, it just doesn't seem to you guys like we're starting the show like this every week. Unfortunately, you know.
Pay respect though to the legends, mate, and you know, Butch Reed. You must have saw him in the AWA, did you, Justin, at one point as well?
I don't think I saw him in the AWA. He was in Mid-States, I know, at the time. He might have been early, might have been a guy that I missed, but reading about him in the magazines, and then of course in I think 87. Late 86, early 87, he goes to the WWE, dyes his hair blonde, becomes the Natural. He wrestles and defeats Coco Beware at WrestleMania 3. And then at WrestleMania 4, one of his final appearances in the WWE was in the title tournament against Randy Macho Man Savage, the eventual title winner in 84. But if that's all you know about Butch Reed, going back, you can go back further. He had some battles with Ric Flair. Just an awesome guy. What I had fun with, and I encourage everybody else to, is if you go to YouTube and look up like Butch Reed promos, the cool thing about the mid to late 80s is the WWE had all the promos for like their house shows and stuff on there. So you can get a lot of really, really good mix, but certainly 66 is far too young for a guy like that. But Butch Reed, one of the guys I never got to get a chance to meet. But SP3, you get Butch Reed, you get a chance to kind of look over his. I mean, I know you're busy, but what does Butch Reed mean to you? I mean, going back and watching some of his stuff, do you even get a chance to go back in history? You're always busy as heck, man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a chance this week with his passing to go back in time, but he's one of like the earliest examples of like an African American in the professional wrestling industry. Just his partnership with Ron Simmons and Doom, that was one of the first black tag teams that I remember, like predecessors to the Harlem Heat, Street Profits, New Day of today. It was really Doom, in my opinion, and to have them come out with Teddy Long, it gave a different look. They were very intimidating, but it was different. It wasn't like a stereotypical perception of African Americans. They had us in more of like a dominant monster heel type persona. So I very much appreciate his time in professional wrestling. He's going to definitely be missed for his contributions, and our thoughts and condolences and prayers to his family, because any losing someone, especially during this time, is definitely very difficult. But for someone that achieved so much in the wrestling industry, our thoughts and prayers from all of us, all the fans out there. I know it's going to go out to his family.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What about you, Mad Dog? Were you were you a watcher of Butch's work?
Yeah, big fan of Butch Reed. He was the first person ever to be eliminated from a Royal Rumble match. He was in the first ever Survivor Series main event. He was managed by Slick when he first came into WWE. Total package of an athlete, really. He was at the University of Central Missouri, where he played American football, and then he got into the wrestling. He was in Mid-South feuding with Hacksaw over the name Hacksaw, so that's how he's Hacksaw Butch Reed, and they had a couple of matches there. When I was reading about it only earlier today, actually, the Hacksaw was the Hacksaw Jim Duggan was the heel, and Butch Reed was the face, and he was with DiBiase, and then they switched it around a little bit. But great little feud they had there, and I was really aware of him on a VHS cassette that me and my brother had over here in the UK, which was actually Capital Combat 90, which was the return of RoboCop. So that shows up. Very fondly remembered by some people, because RoboCop was in the cage, and Sting was in the cage. RoboCop came out and rescued him from the cage, which was great to see. But on that particular show, it was when Teddy Long used to have a massive hair, and he had his hair shaved off at that event, and had to wear like a bit of a do-rag to come out to the ring. And it was Doom versus the Steiner brothers. And if anyone has a chance, go back and check out that match, because Doom versus the Steiner brothers at Capital Combat 90 is one of the hardest hitting wrestling matches you'll see, and it's just a great match. And in the end, it is Butch Reed picks up the pin and wins the tag titles for Doom on that show. So that was a brilliant one for me to watch. And as the other guys have mentioned, he's a really great wrestler and someone who will be fondly remembered. He made a sneaky appearance on SmackDown with Teddy Long back in about 2007. And with that, but I haven't had a chance to meet him, unfortunately. But what a great wrestler, and so many great memories there from his matches. So great guy, and sad to hear of his passing, obviously. So chance to meet him. Respect.
Yeah, definitely. And all of our thoughts and prayers, of course, from all of us here on the Wrestling Telling Podcast, go out to the family and friends of Butch Reed. Justin, are you still there at all, my friend?
The aliens have got him again. Every now and again they come and pick him up, take him for a while, and then he comes back again later on.
They snatch him up.
That's it.
Yeah, hey, I'm back. Sorry, it was having a little bit internet. Here we go. Hey,
he's back. Here he is. Well, Justin, I believe you've got a guest lined up, ready for us to come on the podcast, episode 30, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Can you tell us who we've got?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. We've tried to do this before in the past, and it didn't work out. But got a hold of this man last night. Said, "Would you like to come and do some hanging and banging on the old podcast?" So. From Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. Very happy to announce we got Mr. John Bullard on board. John, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, it's an honor to be on the show. Sorry I was such a difficult person to get on before, so I tried to make things as easy as possible for everybody. So I am so sorry.
I think you had car trouble, or at least that's the standard excuse that we usually get.
Well,
So
yeah, actually we did. We had to get the whole transmission fixed. So yeah, it was legit. So
no. I know it was actually like a last minute cancellation. So you know what? That makes it all the sweeter to have you on here to talk all things Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. So one of the first things I want to say and discuss is just like my colleague SP3 here, Chicagoland. I mean, fairly recently, you're on over in the UK on our friends Powered 4 TV. How has that been for you guys?
Oh, been fantastic. Everybody at Powered 4 treated us like we're part of the team. It's pretty much the best way I could describe it to a lot of promoters and to wrestlers. Being part of Powered 4 isn't just being on a streaming service. Being on Powered 4 is being part of a family. And that's what I love about it. Everybody there works together. Everyone there wants to see all the promotions succeed. And it's not just a UK thing. It's a worldwide appreciation and love for the world of wrestling. And so being part of that has been a tremendous blessing. Always was a fan growing up of United Kingdom wrestling, World of Sport, the Johnny Saints and the Marty Jones of the worlds. So to be part of a network that has some of that lineage of classic wrestling, and including some of the best of the UK wrestling today, it's awesome. I can't complain at all.
Yeah, no, it's. I got a little bit of an echo. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when we go live. But, to those people that haven't, what I've heard back from the Powered 4 TV guys, and of course, me being a little more familiar with what you have done before, I think you and I talked, and we talked to Powered 4 TV. The production value and the way Chicagoland Championship Wrestling is being presented, it has that great feel that a lot of people are really into. Just from knowing you via social media and watching what you do, you're spending a lot of time in all things Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, trying to make it the best of what it can. Do you have a lot of time go into like, hey, this is how we're going to film it. This is the feel I want. You spend a lot of time.
Before we actually ran the first show, it was 2 years in the making. Like, we wanted to make sure that when we had that show done, it wasn't my presentation of professional wrestling was not to be not the next AEW or the next WWE product. A lot of people, they try to go for the flashy lights and let's you later. But what I wanted to present was a product that made you feel like you were in a 1950 smoky ballroom watching a prize fight. The lights are dim. You have the Fight Club type feel. It's studio wrestling from the old school days, but with a modern take to it. We're not trying to say, oh, it's 1980s, you fell in the time machine. It was all about, no, this is today's generation of professional wrestling. This is pro wrestling treated like a sport. It's not going to have the soap opera BS. It's not going to make a real wrestling fan feel like an idiot for watching it. Explain to your friends, it's this, but it's that taking of different things I grew up watching as a fan and as also as a former wrestler and now a promoter, taking in the aspect of I grew up watching like Puerto Rico, watching Texas wrestling, Memphis, a lot of old school NWA, and also All Japan Pro Wrestling of the Giant Baba era, and bring that all together as one package to showcase some of the best young talent in the country that hasn't gotten a chance to get their name out. And I wanted, because a lot of promotions like to use talent that's been overused or they're very established, but every promotion uses them. I wanted to do the Paul Heyman effect. Give me the guys that were underused that I know has so much ability. And that's what I want on my team. I want those guys so I can build them into my own stars. And for 2 years, I scouted. I worked other promotions. I was working backstage, scouting the talent that's going to be around me. Didn't even tell them I was going to promote. Just wanted to see, like, who do I want on my team? What guy do I want to be part of this? Because I want team players and people that will help build this right along with me. And I'm very proud of the team that we got. We got some of the absolute best guys anybody could ask for to work with that just are a pleasure to do business with.
Excellent, John. A couple of the guys from the UK at Powered 4 spoke to me so highly about the about your product and about you guys. John Scott and Johners as well have said, you know, what great product you're putting out there in the States. And obviously, I saw the promo that you did, which was the old school Saturday Night Fight promo. I think it was for your Grapple Masters program, and you know, that was great. Really impressed with that. And I know John have spoke very highly of you, but they were interviewing Mr. 3%, Jonathan Hudson, the other week, and a couple of the other guys as well. I believe they're going to be getting on the Johners show as well to be introducing those to us over here in the UK. So looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. And the guys really are looking forward to, you know, hopefully soon when COVID-19 could be finally done with, you know, have some people of our roster travel to the United Kingdom to work on some shows too, so we could actually really present ourselves to the fans of the UK. You know, because we all love England. There's nobody on the roster that's like, oh, Britain. You know, it's like everybody when they heard that we work with the UK, they were like, my God, this is great because, you know, that's wrestling country. You know, that's a nation that really appreciates good wrestling. So, you know, we've always been a big fan of the United Kingdom, everyone on the roster. So it's so yeah, everyone's excited.
Brilliant. I'm sure you'll be welcomed with open arms over here because I know the fans over here cannot wait for us to get wrestling back. But obviously, we've just got to wait for the time when it's safe, and then we'll be back up and running and looking forward to it.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it as well. And you know, our next couple of goals are produce more shows for all the networks we're part of. We're going to be working on some exclusive content for the Power 4 TV app itself. So we're going to try to include some interesting things. One of the shows we're working on, our wrestling school that we're partnered with, Wrestle League. We're planning to do a Gym Wars show, which is a student showcase event. So that's going to be really fun to watch.
Be great to see some of the young upcoming stars as well.
Absolutely.
What has been for you? I know you're staying busy. You're doing everything Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. I know you're working out. And what I like to see is that a lot of times on social media, I'll see that you're like, hey, I'm taking a break from social media. I'm concentrating on me. But what has been the most difficult time for Chicago, the difficult challenge during this time for Chicagoland Championship Wrestling about running shows safely and stuff? Has that basically when's the next show, I guess, is what I'm asking. I mean, what do you got to do to take precautions and plan that in this new world that we're in?
The hardest thing is that in the United States, and you're in the United States, of course, Justin, so you'll understand this. But United States, you know, having different states have different laws. So in the state that we mainly run our shows in, there is a capacity level that they're kind of holding us to. So right now in the county we're in, we're only allowed 25% building capacity. Now, what makes it rough? Now you think 25% fans, okay, yeah, but the county is actually also including our roster and staff as part of the capacity, which pretty much makes it almost impossible to run a show and make money in return as a promoter. So that's been kind of a struggle. April 17th is hopefully the next event. But if capacity levels don't improve, we're probably going to have to move our show into the summer just to make sure that the requirements are easier on us, but also on top of it, the fans are getting vaccinations. There's different things that we can do to make sure our fans are safe. Our last event in October, we actually checked every fan at the door. We did temperature checks. We provided them masks, and we also had hand sanitizer stations set up throughout the building. So fans had all that, and also, of course, we try to do the social distancing. You know how fans are; they'll get in a chair next thing you know, and they want to move the chair next to their buddy, and it's one of the things like, okay, as long as you're next to people that you're not breathing on someone that's not related to you or not friends with you, But we definitely try to put follow the rules and regulations of the state. For our events right now, we actually have to go through the county board of health. So we actually have the government involved on our shows to actually get approval for us to actually even do an event. What we have to do is write them out a plan of what we got in store for the show, how we're going to conduct it, how we're going to have food handler license to handle the food, and do all the stuff. So where other states are like, yeah, buy a ticket, show up. I get jealous of that a little bit. I'm like, and you got it kind of easy. But on the other hand, I also worry about their fans that they're not doing temperature checks. All it takes is one person getting sick and spreading around to everybody else. And that promotion makes every one of us, all the other promoters, look bad. Because then people think this is how professional wrestling is ran. And we try to do everything safe and sanitary. Before the show, we actually scrubbed down every single chair of Lysol. So every seat that the fans were sitting in was already clean. The ring was sanitary and made sure it was sanitized and safe. So it's been a struggle, but on the other hand, is this taking the small safety precautions that everyone should be doing and making sure it's done correct. And if you do that, then there shouldn't be much worries at all.
100%. I realize that we are dominant U.S. today over the U.K. So SB3, you're over there in New York. You guys still haven't really run any shows too much, have you, over there? New York, Pennsylvania, from what I've heard?
More New Jersey has been like the majority of the shows in the East Coast area over here. They're going to be starting to open things up a little bit more. So I have been seeing like a bunch of the independent promotions out here starting to say like they're going to be running shows in the next couple of months. So it's good to see at least it's opening up. At least there's some type of progression there. That's a good thing. My question for John, Chicago is really like the hotbed for independent wrestling right now, and you guys are doing great things. So what do you think to someone who hasn't really discovered Chicagoland championship wrestling yet, what makes you stand out from the rest of the field in the Chicago area, as well as the rest of independent wrestling?
So what makes us really stand out is our production value. We film in a cinematic style. So if you haven't seen the product, it makes you feel like you're in the ring during the match itself. It's not like you're in a fan perspective. It makes you feel like you're actually like the referee. So it's a very unique way we film. We definitely production helps us stand out. The roster that we use is not really just local wrestlers. I've went out and I took the best wrestlers I could from every Midwest state. So we have guys from like Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, everywhere, and putting them all into one big roster where it's not like, oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see the same guy down the street as you would the next promotion down the street running. I try to avoid that because to me, if you have someone very exclusive, it makes your fans know that they're going to see something unique because it's not something you see 5 minutes down the road from another company.
Yeah.
On top of that, the way that we formatted our show is very much the old school TV studio, where before the match, a guy will come out at the podium and do an interview. and you don't really see that often. And nowadays, guys just get in the ring to take a microphone from the ring announcer and trying to hijack the show. But what we do, we have formats, we have everything in place to do that. On our first show, what we done, we actually had promotional packages before the matches. So we gave our fans an introduction to who our wrestlers were. So for the first time, they're like, "Oh, who's this? Never heard of this guy." But after watching the promo, they're like, "Yeah, okay, I dig it." And it just made it like a easy introduction. We also do something a little different too on our shows. We protect finishers. Where a lot of companies, the first match you see 5,000 super kicks, 30 Canadian destroyers, and an ace crusher, and the guy kicks out at 2. So it's like, yeah, our main event, the finish of the match was a super kick, and it actually got the job done. And it wasn't like 400 super kicks to get the guy down; it was one. And so we do take the old school philosophy. If you have a finisher, no one else on the roster does a finisher. If Chris Logan hits you with a super kick, it's his super kick. If Marche Rocket hits you with the M80 RKO, that he's the only guy doing the RKO. So we definitely made sure that every one of our guys has something special to them, because that finisher is uniquely theirs. And when the fans know it's hit, it's either that person's going down for the count, or they might have that special kick out moment, which freaks everybody out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the differences that we're doing compared to everybody else, because there's so many companies in Chicago that are great, but they all try to do the Ring of Honor formula, or they all try to become like the next ECW, and everybody tries to go that route. And I decided when I moved up here, was like, okay, I'm going to take the opposite route. I'm going to do like an old school wrestling show and bigger than life characters, and make that come to the reality of that. Funny thing, when I was running my first promotion in Kentucky, everybody was doing the old school approach, so I went the new school route. But when I moved up here, I kind of noticed like, okay, everybody's doing the new school stuff. I need to kind of do something this a little bit. So far it's worked. So, but yeah, that's what we've been trying to do. Everybody else in Chicago.
It's great.
You when you talk about the old school and the things that you're talking about that are 101, to me, you're speaking directly to my heart. So I love it. But one of the things I wanted to get in that I didn't really get to ask you when I had you on the lockdown sessions, your logo kicks ass. I love it. You got the Chicago colors and stuff. What, knowing you the way I do, I don't think you just said, hey, some intern designed this. Did you have a hand in that logo? I love it. I mean, I got to get a beanie. I got to get T-shirts yet, but it's awesome. Went into that design.
I'll definitely have to send you a T-shirt. But yeah, the logo itself, my wife actually worked on it. So,
cool.
We saw a similar design, but we're like, okay, we don't want to really copy this. We want to make it our own. So she does all the embellishments on it, really put the Chicago, pride into the logo and the color scheme and everything. So yeah, my wife deserves all credibility on that one. She's a tremendous artist and book author. So, when it's kind of nice. So it's like, hey, I got this idea, and like next thing you know, she's like knocking out different art prints of it. So yeah, it's a big help. So yeah, my wife definitely deserves all credit.
No, it's awesome. I love getting promotional T-shirts from different promotions, but your logo is the one that is going to cause people to go, wait a minute, what is that on your shirt? That looks awesome. I mean, it just got that feel to it. I said the same thing to our mutual friend Garrison Creed with like his merch and his look. Like, kind of makes you go, wait, I want to buy a shirt from that guy. I want to know that. I mean, that's why I think you're. And if you guys, everybody else watching, haven't really seen the logo, I mean, obviously you want to check out the wrestling on Powered 4 TV and check it out. But dude, the logo is just kicks ass in my opinion. If you guys haven't seen it,
no, I appreciate that, man. Really do. Yeah, it's definitely unique. is a lot of companies nowadays that just use the letters, like, oh, here's our logo, and it's like, okay, well, what's that, like a mascot or something different that kind of pops out that looks different. So yeah, the Lucha guy definitely helps.
Yeah, just the Chicago colors, the Chicago flag colors. I mean, it's just that blue. I don't know what they must have, because people in graphic design must know the exact name of that color of blue, but it just pops. It just
I think it's like Carolina blue.
Okay.
Is what they mainly use. Yeah, it's a nice light bluish color, but it's eye catching blue. Yeah, I like it.
Gentlemen, I don't want to hog all the airtime. So if there's any other questions for John.
Yeah, I was just going to say, John, I've just been looking through your roster today. Tell us about a few of the guys who you've got working for you. I know where I saw an interview you did with C Red, basically on Twitter at one point, and just tell us about a few of your roster that are your main stars you've got there, so we can know about them in the UK.
Oh yeah, main stars. God, there's so many of them. Shogun Chris Logan's our heavyweight champion. 12-year, going on 13-year veteran. Chicago policeman. Legit martial artists. To me, he's the epitome of what Chicago wrestling's about. He's tough. He's believable. He's an honorable person. He's someone that you could put him in a ring with anybody. He's going to have a great match with them, and it's going to be a war. We have Marche, All Day Rocket, former TNA Impact star. 6'5", 300 pounds, moves like a cruiserweight. Has ability from God. Just one of those guys that why he's not in WWE is mind-boggling. Why AEW hasn't signed him up, which I'm not complaining. He's on our roster, so I'm grateful for that. But it's still on the outside looking in like this guy should be signed, and he's like the most approachable, down guy business with and talk to. He's just a really really good guy. We got Rockstar Johnny Nye, legit rock musician. But the best way I can describe him, if you take Steve Corino and Andy Kaufman, it's Johnny Nye. He's a chicken. I don't know. Excuse my French. Says he's the archetypical chicken shit 1980s heel that like you just want to see someone punch him in the face. He's so good at getting under people's skin. You have Solomon Stone, the Gold Rush, the Native American son of a casino owner. So he's kind of like a modern day $1 million man. We have Mr. Made for TV, Totally Bertarelli, who's actually a legit television actor. He's a professional wrestler too. So he's been on Empire, Chicago PD. He's on the new season of Fargo. He wrestles for us. God, there's so many people. Gunnar Brave, who's the up-and-coming kid a lot of you will be hearing about. He's a protege of Seth Rollins. He was trained by Seth. He's reminds me a lot of a young Johnny Gargano. He's really, really talented kid. There's so many of them. I mean, Yoya, who's now really getting his name out with GCW here in the States. Also, we have John Hudson, who's like a living, breathing Terminator. You just look at the guy; he's impressive. And he can cut those old school Steve Austin style promos. And I remember when we brought him out, it was a big surprise. He was our big surprise for the night because none of the fans didn't know he was in the building. So when the Chicago connection was like, we got our special guy, and he comes out, you literally hear the crowd go like, "Oh my gosh, Jonathan Hudson!" Like they were like freaking out. And he gets on this microphone, and before the show, he asked me, he's like, "Well, what do you want me to say?" I was like, "Man, you've been pent up with COVID-19. You had all these shows cancel on you. You've been working out in the gym every single day. You're frustrated. Get all that frustrations out. Say whatever you want and just make it to the point. And if you guys haven't had a chance to check out that promo, please do, because it's gold." And what he said was a shoot. He went out and he spoke his mind, and it became the talk of the show because a lot of people were like, "My God, that was fire." Miles Mercer, another young guy coming up. A lot of people believe he's going to be the king of our junior heavyweight division. He can mat wrestle, technical wrestle, brawl, high fly. Like, he can do everything. He's managed by, of course, Chicago's legendary manager, C-Red. So there's so many talented people. Like, when I put that roster together, my goal wasn't like, all right, I want to have like 3 really good wrestlers and everybody else is mediocre. I wanted it where every show felt like an all-star weekend. It was like every match you're going to get something really good. Paragon, a guy who's another amazing talker, great wrestler. He's Prince, Rick James, tied into one character with the swagger of James Brown. So, like, you definitely have to check him out. Chris Moore is a giant juggernaut, big guy who can move. Jace Thorne's very good. No Coast is probably one of the most comical yet entertaining tag team you'll ever find. So, with Chicagoland, the best way I could describe it with our stars is very diverse roster. There's a wrestler for every fan to feel connected with. But on top of it, our goal is to never give you a match that you'd be bored with. It's going to be one of those, we want you to be entertained throughout the entire show and have a good time.
Sounds like a stacked roster, mate. It sounds great. I'm definitely going to be checking it out on Powered 4 TV here in the UK for definite.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of your top notch all the way through.
Oh, thank you. Much appreciated.
No, amazing stuff. And John, thank you very much for joining us today to talk all things Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. And remember, for everyone that's watching here, you can catch Chicagoland Championship Wrestling on Powered 4 TV. You can also get 50% off your first month using the code TRAVEL. That is on powered4.tv for Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, plus many other promotions there. But John, thank you for your time this morning where you are, and we can't wait to see more of Chicagoland, and of course we'd love to get you on again in the near future.
Oh, absolutely. We love you guys at Wrestle Travel. So we're definitely looking forward to working with you guys on some future things coming up. So absolutely. You guys keep on up with the great podcast and the things that you do. And we're definitely looking forward to working with you guys down the road.
100%. And I gotta be the heel here. Wrestling Travel. Everybody calls us Wrestle Travel. Yeah, that's all right. You're not the first one. But I'm going to just call you out because I know you and I can do that. So, yeah, Wrestling Travel. We look forward to working with you, too. And where can a fan go to check out that logo and maybe buy some merch?
Well, we got a couple stores. Of course, once again, we love you guys at Wrestling Travel. ProWrestlingTees.com. What a Maneuver. They have their website. We have our shirts on there too. And also, if people just want to direct message me on my Facebook page, I have a lot of merchandise at the warehouse, and I'll be glad to send it out. And also, anytime people buy stuff from me, will write a personal letter as a thank you to them, just to let them know how much I appreciate it. Send them like an extra cool little merchandise item, like a sticker or something like they just don't get from regular store with us. So. Anything that we can do to make our fans happy, we do it.
John, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, guys. You guys have an awesome day, and I'll definitely be talking to you guys down the road.
Sounds great. Thanks, sir.
Take care.
Fantastic stuff there from John Bullard, Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. Make sure you check them out, of course, on Powered 4 TV, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Fine, gonna take some time, gonna make her mine. Come and live the dream with can do all I can.
Fantastic. I love that video. Love that video.
The back of my head in there like 3 times. It's great.
Did they not get the full focus of your face there, Jason?
We wanted to be aesthetically pleasing, in the videos.
Oh no, absolutely. Yes, indeed. WrestleMania, our favorite event of the year, of course. There, Wrestling Travels 2022 packages are on sale now for Dallas, Texas. Whether you're traveling from the UK, from Ireland, traveling within the US, Canada, or beyond, we do have a package for you and different package options as well to suit your budget there. But we have a piece of news for everybody that is currently booked on for that trip. Tomorrow in your inbox, we will be revealing our hotel in downtown Dallas. And I can assure you, you are not going to be disappointed with the hotel and what is coming with that as well. So make sure you check out your emails tomorrow. That's for everybody that is currently booked on the trip for that exclusive piece of news there. Justin, have you got any intel yet on this?
On the hotel?
Yeah, any intel that you've got? Any spoilers?
Yeah, I'll spoil it right now. You ready?
No, don't do that.
Hey, one of the big thing, I'm a big guy. And I'm just going to say one word, breakfast.
Wow, okay.
Don't say take me out to breakfast, you guys, please. I'm hungry.
I like a Ponderosa when I'm in the States. When I've been in Florida, I always go to Ponderosa for breakfast, and they have all sorts of cakes and jelly for breakfast.
I thought you said Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, yeah. All that.
I was like, I didn't know Thunder Rosa had a place out there. Okay.
You know what? She probably could have her own restaurant here pretty quick.
Yes.
We all love her, and her star keeps on rising. That's awesome. But yeah, I'm excited. So I can't wait to learn where the hotel is tomorrow. I'll get it in my email. Freaking fantastic.
In your email tomorrow there, the full reveal of that. Cannot wait. And of course, if you want to get yourself booked on for Dallas next year, head on over to wrestlingtravel.org for all the information. Or if you want to hit us up, info@wrestlingtravel.org. You can send us a message or on Facebook, on Twitter, and we can answer all your questions indeed. But going a year beyond that, WrestleMania 39 in 2023, Los Angeles, California, I can reveal that we will be launching those packages on Thursday, the 25th of February. Right after the podcast, we'll be launching those on that day. So it's going to be a very exciting afternoon, morning for all of us there. So note that in your diaries. And everybody that is signed up, there is currently a sign-up form on the website for you to put your name down to register your interest, where we will be sending you all the details of everything you need to know regarding that launch on Thursday, the 25th of February. So make sure you sign up and get all the information there, because one great thing about those packages, considering it is so far away in 2023, you're going to have a lot longer to pay that final balance off. So make sure you don't miss out on that. But moving on to the wrestling news, SP3, there was a little quote this week. I wanted to get your take on this quote from Eric Bischoff, which I saw a little earlier, that AEW has flatlined, and it's been that way essentially for a year. What's your take on that quote there from Eric?
I seen the quote, but I didn't hear too much about like the interview or hear the context around it. So I can't really judge Eric Bischoff on this quote just alone. But I mean, I would say in his terms, the product hasn't been as vibrant or as energetic in the past year, which a lot of that might have to do with this whole, global pandemic. That's just my hint of why AEW's television or product has flatlined, as he puts it, and it's been like that for essentially a year. The only place I think that they're different is they don't have the energy of the crowd anymore. As far as storylines, as far as professional wrestling, as far as characters, I think AEW brings it like no other company. And this is coming from someone who is a devoted New Japan Pro Wrestling fan. New Japan just hasn't brought it as far as, you know, their stories and their characters. They're still the best when it comes to professional wrestling, but AEW just knows how to tell stories in the professional wrestling landscape in 2021. They knew how to do it in 2020, and they just know how to put over characters and make them feel important and make them feel like stars either now in the present or in the future more than any other company in professional wrestling right now.
That's some great points there indeed, SP3. And Mad Dog, what about yourself? What would you certainly think of that quote? And obviously, whilst we're on the subject, what was your take on AEW last night?
Yeah, well, you know, I obviously respect Eric Bischoff. I bought him a pint when he was in Liverpool, and you know, he's been a big part of wrestling history, and you know, WCW and everything back in the day. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy AEW. You know, every week I enjoy the shows. I watch it every week, and you know, this week's show was no different. There was all sorts going on. You know, Joey Janela was back to take on Darby Allin. There was some crazy moments on this week's show, but obviously the standout was for me was the main event. Great main event with Kenta appearing, and there's all sorts going on in that. That was great. But one other thing I enjoyed on the show as well was the storyline development of the Inner Circle as well. Sammy Guevara's gone; he's out of there. So yeah, I don't think it's flatlined at all. Personally, I thoroughly enjoy it every week, and I think it's one of the most entertaining wrestling shows out there. And good on them for taking on WWE and doing such a great job of it so far. So yeah, that'd be my take on that.
Nice, some nice takes there indeed. Justin, what about yourself? What's your first of all your thoughts on the quote from Eric? I'm expecting something very, very controversial here from you.
It's perfect. You could replace Eric Bischoff with Justin Clapper on that quote.
How?
Now listen.
Listen, you can't say if me and you were in a bar watching that show, you wouldn't be entertained.
Sorry, say that again. I was trying to use my time to speak. Sorry, Mad Dog, I missed it. What did you say?
I just said if me and you were in a bar watching AEW, having a few beers, I think you'd thoroughly enjoy the show. I think there'd be things you enjoyed. I think just to be popping for. I don't think it's flatlined at all.
Absolutely. Give me a couple beers and man, everything will look good. Glow would look awesome. Well, let's get back to the thing. Over-promised, under-delivered. What did they promise us at the beginning?
A smorgasbord of professional wrestling. They said they would give us. They said they would give us the sports feel of professional wrestling along with the sports entertainment.
When's the last time you got a sports feel from him?
The rankings. The rankings is always why it feels sports related.
Okay.
And wins and losses matter in this. Like Hangman Page's whole story is because of the biggest loss that he took in his career at All Out 2019 against Chris Jericho. We've seen this story for 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years.
I'll tell you what I like, JC. They bring in new characters all the time. This week I saw this guy, big shotty Lee Johnson, who I'd never seen before in the UK. And he came in a tag team match with Cody Rhodes, and he was absolutely impressive. And he's somebody who, without AEW, you might not have heard of him in the UK.
Please, please. That is one of the things I love about AEW. The fact that they're, not spending a whole lot of money, but they're showcasing these guys on national, international broadcasts. But I didn't flatline. I mean, I'm unbelievable stuff. When I watch pro wrestling, and I'm old school. All right, you guys know I'm old school.
Know that.
But I don't know if I ever told you before that I'm old school. But the unbelievable, I mean, the stuff going on with guys like Marco Stunt and all this stuff. I mean, I just have a hard time buying into it. I want that athletic feel. I want them to succeed. You guys look at me like I'm this evil guy that I want them to fail. I don't. I want it to succeed, and it is. But here's my problem, SP3, as you get ready to lay into me. My problem is I have an opinion, but they're putting asses in seats, figuratively, on the rating. So then I go, who am I to complain? Then I thought, hey, I'm a fan. I would like to suspend my disbelief, just like watching a movie when I'm watching professional wrestling. I don't like the hokey shit. I want it to be pardon my language. Sorry, we're on different platforms now. But I want it to be a more believable product. What is my question to you guys? Is AEW the perfect promotion? Do you guys love everything that they do and that they couldn't improve anything? Is there any other promotion that you guys enjoy watching more than AEW?
Right now?
Right now, last few months. And I'm not being a dick here. I'm just honestly, yeah.
No, I would say AEW is the best promotion that I've watched the last few months.
Similarly, I watch everything, JC, like every week, and it's consistently entertaining, I find. And they do some throwback stuff as well. Like just this week, they had Kenny Omega was playing golf on the golf course.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Throwback.
That's
what are you talking about, Mad Dog?
That's the sort of thing you would always see. You would always see like the Four Horsemen, like out on the jet set or whatever, or there's the champ. He's out playing golf, or he's doing nothing related to wrestling. That was always like a classic little promo thing to do.
It's actually a play off of, because the whole thing with Kevin Omega's new gimmick is he's trying to become the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling. That's why when he does his introduction, Justin Roberts always mentions, even though Kenny Omega's never been in North Carolina, he always seems to mention North Carolina because Michael Jordan went to school in North Carolina. That's why he does it in his entrance. The golf bit was because Michael Jordan was well renowned and infamous for going to play golf on big game days. So the fact that Kenny Omega had this big main event and he's out playing golf and then he comes in the ring and he's amazing, it makes you hate him more. That was the whole thing with Michael Jordan. That was one of the reasons people hated him. The next day, and the fact that he used to cheat and gamble on golf made that bit even better. Like I want to see a bit with Kenny Omega and Charles Barkley playing golf now. They need to make that happen. TNT. But as far as Justin's question, I do have problems with AEW. There's probably always going to be one segment that I don't feel went as best as it could have, but your whole basis of conflicting here, and I understand this is a podcast, it wouldn't be entertaining if we all agreed. But the key thing in what you said is you have an opinion. However, what a lot of wrestling fans don't realize, to have an opinion, you must accumulate some knowledge. Get some information to form an opinion. And the fact of the matter is, Justin Clapper, on numerous of the past 29 episodes of Wrestling Travel Podcast, you have gone on record and said you did not even watch AEW Dynamite. So to say that AEW Dynamite has flatlined for over a year when you have watched the equivalent of 1 week of television in the highlights that you have watched of AEW Dynamite in the past year is the reason why I say opinions are like booty holes. You know the rest of the story.
Well, let me respond. Let me. Yeah, that was epic. Danny, you turned on me. You son of first of all, Mad Dog Mike Angus, if it wasn't for SP3, where would you be on your, hey, they played golf? That was throwback. So you're lucky you got a tag team partner. You're lucky you got a good tag team partner. And yes, yeah, tag it in.
I was right here.
I cannot believe that my brother from the USA just totally Drew McIntyred on me and went to the UK side. But you got to understand where me and Eric Bischoff are coming from. Where did Eric Bischoff get his start?
Wait.
Where did Eric Bischoff get his start? Trivia time. Let's talk about history and watching wrestling. Where's my dog?
Wasn't he a Pizza Hut at one point? Didn't I see in the
wrestling business? All right, I'm going to stop talking to Top Golf Guy. I'm going to start talking to you guys that know stuff about wrestling.
Hey,
Where
come
did
on,
you
let's
get his
talk about
start?
wrestling then. Go on, where?
Where? You tell me, Mr. Historian. You guys that know so much. You guys, yeah, I might not have watched the last 29 weeks of AEW as much as I should, but I've paid attention to the last 29 years plus more in professional wrestling. That's where I'm coming from. All right. We're talking the American Wrestling Association, AWA, Eric Bischoff. All right. The guy's been around. Say what you want to say about him. Been around.
I agree with Nick Kemp. I disagreed with a lot of people. A lot of people thought the wedding was okay last week. I thought it was not good. I thought it was in the bottom half of wrestling weddings. And I also have not enjoyed how they've used Miro, although I do understand because he was someone that came in early. They had plans for him this year, not last year. So I understand the Miro part, but I agree with Nick Kemp, who says that he thought the wedding last week was awful.
Let me, and I'm not sidestepping the issue here, but his comment makes me think of something I've wanted to talk to you guys about. When they're bringing in all this talent, okay, they bring them in on Dark. Obviously, they're not signing a lot of them, but they're giving them that platform. Like, you've got a lot of fish in a pond now. I mean, it's virtually, how are they? It is tough for me to get invested in some of the stuff when I feel like we've got all kinds of talent. I'm a big fan of Top Flight because over here in Minnesota, obviously, Brian Pillman, all these guys, and they're going to eventually bring them along. But don't they eventually? And I know Tony Khan's got deep pockets, but aren't we eventually? Everything's going to be pretty watered down, or kind of like they're focusing on the Chris Jericho, the Inner Circle storylines, and then all these guys are kind of left in the shuffle. It's almost. I mean, is a promotion better having a huge roster and only being able, you can only concentrate on so many parts of the roster, or having a dedicated, more trimmed back roster?
Yeah, I found what they tend to do is they showcase like some people one week, and then the next week they'll showcase like a separate bubble, won't they? So that's what they've tended to do, I've found. And like, for example, they'll build up the feud. They won't wrestle on the show this week, but they'll build up their feud for next week. So, like, Jungle Boy was a big part of the storyline last week, and then he's just done a backstage promo this week to set up a match for next week, which is FTR. So, I think they're using the roster quite well because they sort of appear every other week. So, if there's a specific favorite to yours, like Top Flight, like they were on last week, and they'll probably be on next week, but they weren't on this week's show. So, that's what you tend to find happens, I think. Do you agree with that, SP3, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, AEW has been doing a good job as far as locking in the talent that are unsigned that they want to have plans for long term. I mean, they couldn't come to terms with Ben Carter, but they gave him the platform to get signed by NXT UK, similar to what they did with Elena Black, who's now Cora Jade, and she just made her first appearance on NXT last night. They gave her that opportunity by being on AEW Dark. That's why she got signed by WWE. So, they're not going to always sign all this unsigned talent that they're using. But I think the great thing about AEW is that they have proven that they care about professional wrestling. It's not all about all elite wrestling. It sometimes is about professional wrestling. That's why they're giving the rub to Impact Wrestling by using some of their talent with, Private Party on this week's episode, as well as No Surrender this Saturday, as well as, Kenta being on AEW Dynamite, which had nothing really to do with Revolution. I thought they were going to set up the main event for Revolution. It was all about really hyping Kenta versus Moxley on New Japan Strong on February 26th. So the fact that they are showing that type of love and that type of throwing a bone to these other organizations, it shows that they care about professional wrestling. They're also giving these wrestlers a platform to get signed by other places because there's only so many spots. in AEW. So I think AEW has done a great job of utilizing the talent that they have. Of course, there's going to be guys like Santana and Ortiz, Ricky Starks. I would love for them to use more, and I would love for those guys to have bigger opportunities. But it's all about, the guys, they kind of have a plan in place for certain guys, and then other guys they're going to get to them in the long run. And it's all about having that type of patience. But at least we have that type of optimism being AEW fans that we don't have all the time with WWE, that these guys will get that opportunity. So that's why AEW is not flatlining. It's actually on the rise. But Eric Bischoff, I'm not going to say anything bad about you. Maybe you could watch True Hill Heat, and I might have something to say, but not on your guys' show. I won't do that.
Well, let me show a little bit of my softer side, and as I hate to disagree at all with Uncle Eric, but I will say I was super excited when they brought back Sting. I was super excited with them appearing on Impact. So they are doing a lot of really good things. I would like to see it balanced more. I just want to see good. I just hate taking a step backwards with some of the skits and some of the things. I didn't see the golfing episode, so I apologize to you, Mad Dog, for ripping on you. But yeah, but just overall, I wanted that more sports-like feel. I thought we were going to get. I'm so old that I want the backstage interview to lead into something, like using that as a platform. I'm just the whole formula that we've been used to the last 30 years where, oh, hey, I'm just going to bump into somebody backstage and that the cameras just happen to be there and stuff like that. I was hoping, and that's not AEW's fault. That's just wrestling as a whole. I was hoping maybe they would change that up a little bit, give it a more real feel.
There's always a thing. You have to have a balance. Like, you can't just cater to one type of wrestling fan. And I think that AEW doesn't do that. They cater to all these wrestling fans. So, of course, you're going to get the complaints of somebody who doesn't enjoy Orange Cassidy. But then you look at the ratings on a Thursday afternoon, and they're like, Orange Cassidy had the highest rated segment on AEW. So somebody's enjoying it. They don't cater to just the old school wrestling fan. They don't cater to the new school wrestling fan. They cater to every wrestling fan, and they're trying to get some back to put eyes on professional wrestling once again. So the fact that they're doing that, and they're doing it so well, and they have been doing it for almost 2 years now, AEW is on the right track. They might not have the same energy in their shows, but a lot of that has to do with the global situation going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There are some fantastic points made by everybody there, indeed. And I love it when we all get fired up. That's what we love to see on the podcast.
Danny, did you watch AEW this week?
I didn't, mate. I didn't. I've obviously seen what the main event was, and I've put aside a time tomorrow to watch it. So I'm going to check it out this week. I don't usually watch it, to be honest. I usually just catch up with it. So after seeing what the main event was, I thought, well, I can't really miss it, can I? So I will check it out.
It was Attitude Era style, the main event. But another match that was great on the show was the Bastard Pack versus Ryan.
That main event.
That was a good one.
I really enjoyed the main event. I thought the main event was absolutely amazing. I thought it was memorable. You had actual potatoes being used, and we got a whole bunch of potato puns. That was great. Yes, potatoes were being used because they went to the kitchen. It was Falls Count Anywhere, and they went to the kitchen. We got a DDT on one of those metal tables that they use in like cafeterias. Great, memorable stuff. And the Bullet Club working together was a great moment for the end there. I really enjoyed Thunder Rosa versus Layla Hirsch. I thought that match was really good. Joey Janela and Darby Allin had a really fun match, and it was completely different than what we were expecting from these two, because you think Joey Janela and Darby Allin, you think they're going to go nuts. It's going to be insane. They're going to be flying all over the place, having no regard for their bodies, but they kept it strictly in the ring, and they had more of a grounded, technical-based matchup. So I thought that was really, really good opener to the show. But really, the bulk of the show really had to do with the storylines. Like Mad Dog said, the whole Inner Circle saga was great. Sammy Guevara, the little touches in his turn was awesome. Coming out through the heel tunnel and then going down the babyface tunnel. Him basically MJF trying to set him up with the recording on the phone, but he was smart enough to actually recognize it and threw it against the wall. He was actually a smart babyface for once, so that was great stuff. And then Hangman Page as well. Hangman Page's storyline with Matt Hardy trying to recruit him, trying to get him drunk so he could sign as his client. Great stuff. And Hangman being smarter than the average drunk cowboy was great. Love it. So I thought AEW Dynamite, this was one of their better shows, and they're just on such a hot streak when it comes to their shows. Like 3 weeks ago, it was off, and I chose NXT as the better show, but ever since then, they've had 3 back-to-back really stellar standout weeks.
No, awesome stuff indeed. But across the other side from Dynamite, of course, we do have NXT with their event this weekend. NXT Vengeance Day on the 14th of February. SP3, well, I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, we've got a little message actually from 2 current members of the NXT roster. Take a look at this.
What's your favorite place to wrestle? I mean, we're at Warriors, so probably here. Way to get that payday. All of them. Every single one. Everyone? Here, even over here and over there. You want to go to all of them. Cool thing about it is wherever you want to go to watch pro wrestling, you can do it with wrestling travel.
Wow.
Like we do.
I love it. But yeah, big event this weekend for NXT. Of course, MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, I believe, in the final of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Mad Dog, what are your thoughts on that? Mad Dog.
Yeah, I think that's what we predicted, wasn't it, guys? A couple of weeks ago, we said that's what we would hope we would see. I know you guys were supporting the Rascals, MSK, and obviously I was supporting my boys from Liverpool, James Drake and Zach Gibson, the Grizzled Young Veterans, and they both had great performances on NXT this week. We lost Danny now, that's good. But yeah, rogue. That's it. It's broke away from our mothership.
I kept raising my hand because did you notice how dark it's getting on Danny's I was like, we're gonna lose Danny completely. Like the sun was setting in his living room. I don't know what was going on. So yeah, go ahead, Matt.
His electricity's gone out. That's what it'll be. Yeah, but no, it was a great show. He's back. Here we go.
There he is.
Back in the room.
Hey, lights are on.
So yeah, I was just saying the MSK match was great to start the show. There was all sorts of stuff going on. People going over the top rope. They did their finish off the ring apron, which I thought was amazing. I hadn't seen them do that before. And then as well, in the main event of the show, separated away from them was the Grizzly Young Veterans, who had a great match against Ciampa, and another thoroughly enjoyable match. And yeah, NXT was a great show. I like both of them this week.
No, absolutely. We've got a comment there from Nick Kemp. I think MSK will win, but I'd love to see the Grizzled Young Veterans win it indeed. I mean, I'm not too sure which team. I like both of them, to be honest. What about you, Justin? Who would you like to see win it?
Oh, the Rascals for sure. Nash, Carter, and Wesley. Is it? Yeah, no, I got to go with those guys. Those guys, we have, as a whole, I will say myself, but we have seen them on the ground at like Warrior Wrestling and Impact, very underutilized. I would love to see them. All due respect, but I got to keep up the USA versus UK battle. I respect your Grizzled Young Vets, but I want to see MSK. I do believe when we first talked about them appearing in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, they had their debut, and I believe one of you said that they were going to run into this buzzsaw known as Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, and wouldn't get out of that.
That was Stewie Palmer called that himself. He said he was guaranteeing that Killian Dane and Drake Maverick would could do them in, but we were convinced that it was going to be them in the finals, wasn't it? And it's come to fruition. So
I just think it's going to be a great match, and one of the things that the fact that I can say, hey, I want these guys to win. But I don't know. So I love that feel going into a pay-per-view because you're not sure where they're going to go. Speaking of tag teams, the one thing I'm really looking forward to is, man, I love Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. That team is fantastic. And seeing that they're going up against Ember Moon and her tag team partner, who shall not be named, I'm looking forward to Dakota Kai and Raquel dominating.
They both came out to the tank together this week, JC. Ember and Shotzi were both on it.
There you go. That's wrestling.
What about yourself, my friend? What about your thoughts on the tag match and, of course, Vengeance Day this weekend?
I thought they did a really good job of giving a final hype to Vengeance Day, kind of dedicating the NXT Championship match and the NXT Women's match to just video packages, made those matches feel bigger. I really like the video packages that they did for like Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez, and Io Shirai. I think that match is going to be really good on Sunday, and they just really have ramped up this card, especially main evented with Balor versus Dunn, which is going to be tremendous. I think Kushida and Gargano is going to be the best match because Kushida has been waiting to have that standout fantastic match that he's known for from his New Japan time, and I think putting him in there with Mr. Takeover and Johnny Gargano was the perfect move by NXT. I really enjoyed both men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match. I feel like the main event was just a little bit better. Grizzled Young Veterans just worked so well with, as he calls it, Toothless Timmy and Old Man Ciampa. I thought they were going to win, but I was very happy that my original prediction of GYV versus MSK was correct. That is the Dusty Rhodes Classic finals, and I'm going for MSK. I agree with Justin. MSK are the better team in my opinion. They're the hotter team. They have more momentum, but I really feel like this is going to be a great match because of the styles clash with Grizzled Young Veterans being hard hitting and grounded while MSK being the high flyers. It's just going to be a really great show this Vengeance Day. I don't know what you feel about the name. I think the name is very corny, especially when St. Valentine's Day Massacre is just waiting there for you to grab and use. You don't use it. You use Vengeance Day. This card is stacked, though, and I think it's going to be one of the better takeovers of the year. But AEW was definitely the better show last night.
Don't skirt the main question. Who do you got in the women's tag match?
Women's tag team, it just makes sense for Ember Moon, who I'm not the biggest fan of. I like Ember.
Really?
I like Ember in the ring. I love her look, but her promo skills are atrocious. I'm just gonna put it quite frankly. I've said this for 4 years now that her I thought this both even during her NXT run. I was like, she's not gonna make it on the main roster because she's not a good promo. And that was proven correct, and that's why she's back in NXT. I like the use of her with Shotzi because I feel like it elevates both ladies because Ember doesn't really need to be in the title scene right now. She is a former champion, and they can go to that down the road, but using her to elevate Shotzi is the right move. And I know how much you hate Shotzi, Justin, but this girl is so talented. She has the it factor. This is a hard one. This is probably the hardest match to predict because Raquel Gonzalez is on fire. Dakota Kai, her and these two are probably the best team that they had in the Women's Dusty Cup. But I'm going to go with Ember and Shotzi just to make Clapper upset.
And that's fine. But two things I want to make a point. Doesn't Dakota Kai, her facials in the ring as a heel are outstanding, and she strikes me as that person that when when she's gonna remember when she was a baby face before God, I can't remember what her name was that she slammed into the War Games, her knee.
Tegan Knox.
Wizard. Tegan Knox, who was cool. She's got those facials down where she's gonna be one that's gonna be able to go from heel to baby, or as we used to say, fan favorite to rule breaker. She's got it down. Ember Moon, yeah, I love her in-ring style. You're right, but like the promo thing, which brings me to another question that's a sidebar. How much are these guys suffering from having to go with TV writers versus having somebody like a Dusty Rhodes who is right there to be able to talk them in? And I know they got other coaches and stuff, but nobody would have done it better than Dusty at helping out with these promos about getting the actual points across.
But that's why I mentioned I didn't like her promos in NXT. NXT is different from the main roster. The main roster is nothing but TV writers writing guys promos for them. NXT, they kind of are a collaboration between someone who's been in the business and the person themselves. It just didn't translate well because she's playing this dark, mysterious character, and then she's crying about Asuka beating her in a match. So her promo doesn't go with her character. That's the
inconsistent.
It's not. It has nothing to do with the script.
Wow, did SP3 and I just get along on something? That was awesome.
Wow.
What did you guys think about? What did you guys think about Johnny Gargano in the wheelchair for a broken arm? I thought that was absolutely excellent.
Johnny Gargano's just been nailing it with his character. He's like he brings the comedy and the humor to NXT each week, and this week was no different.
Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant stuff. Can't wait for Vengeance Day this weekend, of course, on the WWE Network. Justin?
No, just real quick, because we're a UK-based show. You guys, how do you and Mad Dog, not give us your opinion on Finn Balor and Pete Dunne?
Oh yeah, I was going to say, I better tell you, I think Grizzled Young Veterans will go over in the tag match because they did so well last year, and MSK have got such a good run behind them. But I think this year will be the year for the Grizzled Young Veterans to come good in the Dusty Classic, and I think it's well deserved because they've worked hard for a couple of years, those guys, and I think they'll go over in that. In the Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne match, I would love Pete Dunne to win, but I'm not sure if it's come around a bit too soon. Maybe there'll be something else to elongate the storyline a bit. I feel like Finn Balor, it could reign for a long time on NXT, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I'd like Pete Dunne to win and extend the feud, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, no, I'm with Mad Dog there. I'd love to see Pete Dunne win that, but Finn Balor's just at the top of the chain on NXT there, so it's one of those. But it would be nice to see if Pete would to capture that.
Pete, a t-shirt on today, Pete.
There we go. Absolutely lovely. Just going back as well, we were talking about the Grizzled Young Veterans there. Just some sad news this last couple of days there. Wrestling School Fighting Spirit unfortunately has now had to close in Liverpool. Some fantastic talent, of course, came out of the school there. So we certainly wish anyone that was involved with that all the best for the future indeed. And of course, Mad Dog, some news from TNT Extreme as well. Of course, this month's events are no longer going ahead. Of course, it was scheduled to be the DOA Death Match Tournament, but unfortunately that will not be going ahead. Now, of course, you are able to defer your tickets to another show in the future. You're able to claim a refund at info@wrestlingtravel.org for those scheduled for this month. But Mad Dog, is there any plans as to when the next show may be at all? I know there's still a lot of things still up in the air, but is there any indication as to when the first one may be?
It's just going to be when the government's allow in the UK, unfortunately. So we'd announced dates hoping that we'd be able to run some, but unfortunately, it's not feasible at the moment. It's not safe to do it in the UK. As soon as things get back on the ground as normal, we'll be ready to go. And for events like DOA, that's one of our biggest shows of the year. That'll certainly be possibly rescheduled to later on in the year, or it'll be ran next year as normal, hopefully. as long as things get back to normal. But it's all down to the government to give us the go ahead when we can run safely. We had, everything in place, ready to run shows as COVID safe as they could be, as the guys at Chicagoland are doing, as the guys at Palais Pro are doing over in the States. But at the moment, it's down to the government. They've got to give us the go ahead. And yes, you mentioned about fighting spirit. A lot of the great wrestlers who we have over in the UK have come from that school. James Drake and Zach have done a great job training people. People like Cameron Solas, who's come through the ranks there. Even like Chris Ridgway and other people have all popped into to that school and done a great job. And any people who have been training there, TNT are going to have Claw Wrestling School, which is going to be open in Liverpool later on in the year. So any students who have been at Fighting Spirit are more than welcome to attend Claw and come and see what it's all about. I know we've got some great trainers who are going to be there. So that's going to be, I believe, a school in Liverpool and possibly one in Wigan as well, I heard. So, so there's great stuff coming from that, and, obviously we've always supported Fighting Spirit at TNT. We had Screwface Ahmed defended their title on one of our shows, and we've always supported the guys there. We've had Grizzled Young Veterans on numerous of our shows, and all the guys there. We just wish them the best of luck, and anyone who wants to carry on their training, Claw Wrestling School will be open later on in the year. So get yourselves involved, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the update there, Mad Dog. Indeed. I'm just currently on my Twitter feed. It looks like a Triple H conference call is going on at the minute for the NXT preview there. It looks like just from Sean Ross sat there, Triple H saying Rick Steiner's son is coming in the door, apparently to
Bronson Rex Steiner, yes.
Bronson Rex Steiner, yes. Looks like he's on his way into WWE there. So some interesting piece of news. But Justin, there is an event coming up, Pele Pro live on Fight TV. Can you tell us a little bit more about that coming up?
Yeah, of course. Our good friend Kyle Hessler and Pele Pro coming up tomorrow night live. They're at the what's the name of the brewery? The Draft Beer. Boy, I should have been more prepared, but that's in Texas.
Legal Draft Beer.
Legal Draft Beer. Thank you so much. I'm glad I have a tag team partner to get my back, much like SB3 got your back. So it kind of works out. We're kind of a triple threat.
We're a family. We're all there for each other, mate.
Well, that's debatable. But let's talk about oh, I'm not debating it. I just feel sometimes I feel like I'm the stepchild of the family sometimes, fellas. But that's all right. Don't worry about my feelings. Don't worry about my feelings. Let's talk about Sam Adonis defending the Pele Pro belt against Psycho Clown tomorrow night in Texas. We also have an appearance by Michael Bennett, who is going to be down there at Pele Pro. And there is Myron Reed versus our friend Ryan Justice. That is going to happen. Justin Taylor is on that card as well. But, I mean, all kinds of awesome things. Mike Bennett is going to wrestle Cam Cole. Pardon me as I look at my notes here. Justin Taylor versus Aski Palomino. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Isaiah Broner versus Gino Medina in the ladies' match. Erica Torres versus Miranda Elise. And I'm sure I'm pronouncing a lot of stuff wrong. But I know we wanted to have Kyle on today to kind of talk about it. Or I was going to try to get maybe even Mr. Adonis, the champion himself. But, of course, our scheduling did not work out. But I'm really excited. Put on a really good show. Pele Pro does, and really looking forward to this one. Of course, this will be Mr. Adonis' second title defense. And, I don't know much about Psycho Clown, but his reputation precedes him, and I heard it's a lot, and this is going to be a great match because, of course, you guys know Sam spent a lot of time in Mexico wrestling. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of action we get out of Pele Pro. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the last show they did. It was the one January 14th, the Brawl at the Brew. I caught some of the highlights of that, and that was when when Sam Adonis obviously won the championship. He was busted open. He had a beer at the end of the show. That was good to see. But they've got some great talent there.
That's old school. People golfing, people having a beer.
It's what we like to see. And I know Myron Reed's going to be on the show, and that's I believe an interview Stu Palmer's going to have coming up on Stu's Wrestling Podcast in the next few weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. A guy who I've seen around Texas a little bit, because Texas has got such a great wrestling scene at the moment. It's great to see that them guys are able to run shows out there, and there's a hotbed of talent out there. But there was one guy who stood out to me. I know, Justin, you're a fan of the Beastman Husk, but I believe he was in the ring with Malachi at the last show. And Malachi was on another show I saw as well. I think it was the Pro Wrestling Expo. But he's an interesting character who looks a bit different. He reminded me slightly of
Magnificent Malacho, right? That's who you're talking about? Yeah.
And he reminds me a little bit of Sim Bodie, who wrestled over here quite a bit and wrestled, obviously, and he lives in Vegas in the States, doesn't he? So, but he's wrestled over here for the Knight family. So I've met him a couple of times, and he's very reminiscent of that character. But great stuff to see. And I think the show this week, there's some great matches on there, as you were mentioning. That Mike Bennett versus Cam Cole should be great. Mike and Maria were on a chat this week for Ring of Honor that I caught with the Haskinses. So obviously Mark Haskins and Vicky, worked with us at TNT. So it was great to see them guys catching up on a little Instagram chat last week, and good to see that Mike's wrestling in Texas. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. And where are we able to catch that one? Is it on Fight TV, Justin? Did you say?
Yeah, Fight TV. Unfortunately, I don't think. Like the last couple of times, even though we're a proud sponsor, I don't think we've gotten the cheat code for Fight TV on Pele, so it'll be coming out of our pocket. I guess we'll have to, but it's awesome. You know what I love about this? If you're ever on the fence about ordering a show, that's why we preview it. What I love about Pele Independent Wrestling Expo Warrior Wrestling is I find myself as a pure wrestling fan discovering, like you said, guys like the Magnificent Malacho and seeing a Myron Reed for the first time and stuff. So you never know who you're gonna fall in love with as far as a wrestling match goes. But SP3, are you familiar with like Psycho Clown? I know you're a student of the game, so
I watch the major show for AAA every year, Triple Mania. So I am familiar with Psycho Clown. So I feel like this is like AAA versus CMLL, with Psycho Clown going one-on-one with Sam Adonis. And, you got to give it up for Pele Pro having someone like Sam Adonis represent their company, because I did an article last year for Sportskeeda, the 5 best unsigned talents that WWE needs to sign, and one of those guys was Sam Adonis, because he has the look, he has the it factor, and he has the heelish charisma of a guy that you just want to see get punched in the face, and he doesn't even have to say a word. All he has to do is smile at the crowd, make a gesture, and he just is able to get that. He has everything it takes to be a top heel. He could talk the talk, he could walk the walk, and he's a guy that needs to be signed by a major promotion, in my opinion. Psycho Clown, he's had insane type of matches on the Triple Manias that I've seen in the past. I don't know if this match will be quite as crazy, but if it is, Sam Adonis better be in store for some craziness. But there's a lot of like great unsigned independent talent on this show. Will All Day is another guy that definitely has to be mentioned here. Ryan Justice, who has a great social media game. He's always going out there, getting involved, interacting with the community. They also got guys from MLW like Gino Medina and Myron Reed. Myron Reed, if you haven't seen this guy in the ring, he calls himself the Young Goat. He has a lot of the skills of a Leo Rush meets a Shane Strickland. Like if you put those two wrestlers together, you would get Myron Reed. But this guy is multi-talented. He makes music and he just has a style unto himself. And the Injustice is one of the best stables in MLW right now. So it's very great that Pele Pro, has them on this show. Gino Medina's very young in the game. He's new. He was a part of the Dynasty with MJF, Richard Holiday, and Alexander Hammerstone in MLW. He's now gone away from them, so this is a nice showcase for him, kind of on his own at Pele Pro. So a whole bunch of talent that you've seen on TV, you've seen in different promotions, or you haven't seen that you could discover on this show. So Pele Pro, definitely go out your way to watch this.
Awesome. And my one sidebar, of course, Kyle and Stephen Wright that we had on a couple weeks ago, doing the Independent Wrestling Expo. And I know we might get to it, but Black Taurus showed up last night or Tuesday night on Impact, which is very cool. Like one of the things I say, why do we want to watch these? Maybe I haven't heard of a Pele Pro or an Independent Wrestling Expo. You get that first sneak peek at some of these guys that maybe you don't know. So that was awesome. So I'm certainly looking forward to watching this show. Cannot wait.
Yeah, no, certainly indeed. Fight TV, a place to watch Pele Pro. And also this weekend on Fight and the Impact Plus app, we've got No Surrender, which promises to be another fantastic event from Impact Wrestling. Tommy Dreamer getting an Impact World title shot for his 50th birthday there. What a present that would be if he was to win the Impact Wrestling Championship there. Mad Dog, what are your thoughts, first of all, on Tommy getting a title shot and the event itself this weekend?
Yeah, great stuff. I've always been a fan of ECW and watched Tommy Dreamer's rise through ECW back in the day, from when he used to have the old britches on or whatever it was, and the multicolored neon and everything, and his whole evolution of hardcore and everything, and right through his whole WWE run he had, where he was innovator of violence and everything. I always enjoyed Tommy's matches. It's good to see that he's still going. He's at the House of Hardcore, hasn't he, in New York, which has gone great for him. And it's good to see him still wrestling and getting a chance, and for his 50th birthday, he's getting a match with Rich Swan. So great. Let's see how it goes. And looking forward to it. I was excited about the news Justin mentioned about Black Taurus. We had Black Taurus on the second to last show we ran at TNT. Black Taurus was on with Puma King in a great match at Project X, which is available on Powered Floor TV. Check that out so you can see what Taurus is all about. And for a guy who's so big, he is very agile and, great wrestler, good addition to the Impact roster. I've been really impressed with Trey Miguel on Impact recently. He's been looking good. I think Sammy Callahan's got his sights set on him, so that could be something we see this week. And then they've got that big tag team match, the Good Brothers against with Saban and Storm, and Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. That'll be another great match. So yeah, I'm thoroughly excited for it, and I'll be checking it out at No Surrender. So it should be good.
Definitely there. We do have a free code competition going on Twitter at this moment in time. I will give that a retweet soon, so everybody who hasn't entered yet can enter to watch No Surrender this weekend. Well, to enter to win that code. SP3, we've got a first ever triple threat revolver match at No Surrender. What is your take on the rules of that match?
Well, I believe it's going to start with 3 of the guys in the matchup, and then every time an individual is pinned or submitted, they are eliminated from the match, and a new participant will enter, and they'll do the 3-way once again. And anytime a person is pinned or submitted, they are removed, and a new competitor will come out. So it's an interesting little concept. Impact Wrestling really hasn't made a new type of match stipulation since like the Ultimate X or Elevation X of years ago. So it is great for them to kind of add something new to their stipulations that they can call their own. And this is a new one that hasn't. I really haven't seen it in any different promotion. It's a play off of like a Gauntlet or a Royal Rumble, but still different, which they can make their own. So I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that, to see how it all plays out, and we obviously hope that it is very successful indeed, to see more of them in the future. But like you say, it's great that Impact once again, they're innovative, making these new match types for us to watch, and for obviously others to try as well. But Justin, we had a comment there just from Kim at Ignite Wrestling, saying that there is so much talent that deserve a chance, but they must need the boost from Dreamer's name. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't want to disagree with Kim, but I think it's pretty cool. Like the storyline, you were going to be on the Impact Press Pass, and I know that we had a little bit of what do you call it, internet issues to get through there. But I know one of the questions I wanted you to ask was, what does this mean at 50 years old versus when you're first breaking into business, kind of sliding between the reality and kayfabe of it. But I think it's kind of cool showing the old hand Tommy Dreamer versus Rich Swan. What kind of stuff could we get there? But, I don't want to bag on Dreamer, but I mean, I'm not sure he's got that old school name, but she's right. They're jam packed full of talent. And which brings me back to my other point with the AEW. If we're going to do a lot of these combining of shows with the promotions, that it's going to be cool that now there's more places for these guys. They can kind of spread out that talent a little more, a la Private Party coming over and appearing on an Impact show, and Impact guys, the Good Brothers, being on there. So I didn't really answer your question at all. And that's what but I would like to call on my colleague SB3.
I was on the Impact Press Pass as part of Sportskeeda, and I was able to ask Tommy Dreamer and hear a bunch of the questions asked to Tommy Dreamer, and a lot of people did ask about that. And Tommy Dreamer was the first to admit that he doesn't deserve an opportunity because of his win-loss record, and he feels like Impact has so much young talent that should be ahead of him. But this is something that Rich wanted to do. And, that might be him talking in kayfabe, but you could see also the reality of the situation and what he was saying, that him and Rich are actual friends. And Rich Swan has never been able to verse Tommy Dreamer. And Rich Swan might not ever be able to verse Tommy Dreamer, because Rich Swan is such a natural babyface, and so is Tommy Dreamer, especially at his extended age and pretty much his entire career, that the stage would never be right for them to go one-on-one unless it was for a title. So I like the story that they built. I don't want to say I disagree, but I do agree that there is a lot of talent that deserves a chance. But Tommy Dreamer getting this opportunity doesn't deny them of any opportunity or deny them of a chance. This is not the major pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling. The next major pay-per-view is Rebellion. And the next major biggest match is the one that Justin complained about weeks ago, if you remember correctly.
Oh, I can get again. You gotta be careful.
Of Kenny Omega versus Rich Swan, champion versus champion. But outside of that major match, Moose versus Rich Swan is another major match that they've been building to, that they don't want to give away just this quick, especially this quick after their last pay-per-view. So having this filler type of feud or filler type of defense for Rich Swan, it adds a title defense to his reign, so it makes him more credible as a champion when he eventually does drop the title to either Moose or Omega. And it also gives Tommy Dreamer the opportunity to kind of show his promo chops at 50 years old, and he had a great promo on Impact Wrestling this week to hype up this match.
Very good points, but one point I want, before we move on from it, I want to say, how awesome is it for me to see fellow Eddie Sharkey trainee ODB return to Impact. That's going to be very cool. Of course, if you follow ODB on social media, she's down in Florida busy with the food truck that takes her off. So it's really cool to see her have a platform on national TV again. She's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. But make sure you catch Impact Wrestling No Surrender this weekend on the Impact Plus app and on Fight TV. But just some quick bits of information here. We do have our brand new t-shirt now available on Wrestle Merch Central, created by Style and Profile. Rich Baker there at Style and Profile with that creation. You can head on over now to Wrestle Merch Central to get that t-shirt, plus many other fantastic merch items there as well. Also, Wrestling Trader for all your favorite wrestling action figures and memorabilia. Some fantastic exclusives that they've got over there at the minute. Head on over to wrestlingtrader.co.uk for more details. And is that Mad Dog stamping day there? That's brilliant. But Justin, going back about the talent, the great places that they can go. Make sure we this week. We're very excited about the match there. A little bit more about that.
Okay, thank you, Luke Gehrig. Today, I feel that you're just echoing. I'm assuming that we're talking about AAA versus MLW last night, Laredo Kid versus Leo. I know my colleague, my good friend, has to step away very quick. So could I please get your feelings on that match in MLW v AAA?
Well, you know, I have twins, so I wasn't able to watch it, but I have seen the I know I have seen the hype going into this match, so I was very excited to watch it. So I definitely will before I film True Hill Heat, so I could comment on it a little bit more. But I think that Leo Rush being in MLW elevates them because it gives them kind of a star that feels bigger than your typical MLW star. But they have their mainstays in Hammerstone and Fatu. But having someone in that middleweight division, the middleweights and cruiserweights X division, however you want to say it, they always seem to draw fans due to their fast-paced type of wrestling that they do in the ring. So I think Laredo Kid and Leo Rush make a great combination to accomplish that. I think it's great that Leo Rush won the AAA cruiserweight championship, and he's the unified champion because it makes it bigger for whoever eventually is the guy that's going to beat him in MLW, as he is undefeated right now.
And Laredo Kid, of course, we saw him at the Independent Wrestling Expo on August 29th, which is awesome. But now, real quick, because I didn't do my due diligence, is this a merger of that title?
No. It's a unification, not a merger. It's just Leo Rush is going to hold both titles, which Leo Rush had already been performing for AAA, but under the alias as Spider-Man. Yes, because AAA has their own partnership with Marvel. Leo Rush had been playing Spider-Man in AAA.
Shades of Arachnaman in the 80s when they got in trouble with Marvel. So that's cool. Mad Dog, did you get a chance on that match?
Yeah, I caught them. Yeah, it's great to see Leo Rush doing well. He beat Myron Reed for the title, didn't he, himself? And, it's good to have a strong middleweight division. He's. I heard a rumor that he's going to turn his attention now to trying to maybe be a bit of a belt collector like Kenny Omega, and that he might be going after Darby Allin and also Hiromu Takahashi as well. So that could be an interesting development if he does that sort of thing, because now that door is open, isn't it? So
it is. Am I still echoing?
A little bit.
I'm getting a slight echo from somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there, but yeah, check out MLW, check them out on YouTube and all the other platforms that they do cast on. It's
what have you done?
Let me see if I can try and give me a second.
Please check out Wrestling Travel. They're a great sponsor for us. They help us with so many different events, so many different traveling inquiries. They are the greatest. They have been seen at Starrcade, Warrior Wrestling, you name it. Wrestling Travel is one of the premier traveling organizations for pro athletes such as ourselves.
Is that any?
Go on, Dan.
No.
No, you sound all right. You sound all right to me.
Okay, maybe just for for you then, SP3. But yes, of course, Wrestling Travel Podcast episode 30, some fantastic points discussed, and again, a fantastic time with all of you guys here. But I know that time is of the essence there, so we'll just quickly go around and say what else everybody good. First of all, SP3 True Heel Heat, where can we find you and more stuff?
So you can find True Heel Heat on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Heel Heat. You can find our YouTube channel. Thank you once again for that. Congratulations on 1K. We have daily content over there. This Saturday, we'll have True Heel Heat 112 with AEW's own Vert Vixen, also of Mission Pro Wrestling. She's going to be our guest host on that one. But right now, you can also check out our review of February 26, 1996 WWF Raw and WCW Nitro on an all-new True Rewind with myself, Drunk Guy JJ, and Romeo Anthony Colon. But you can also find myself. Yes, I have separated church and state over on the Twitter machine. So I am True Heel Heat is at their own place, and now you can find me myself at True Heel SP3. Pretty simple to remember. Just drop the heat, add an SP3 on the Twitter machine. I have my own Twitter account, but you could also find me every single Monday live at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. BST on Powered 4 TV on their Facebook and YouTube channel with my new show, Powered 4 SP3, along with the great and insightful John Scott. We're going to be talking about the latest going on in WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, and we have interesting scenarios like what ifs. Like this past week, we did what if Vince McMahon screwed Shawn Michaels instead of Bret Hart. So great stuff over there. Sportskeeda Wrestling, you can see all my written material, but now you can see me on their YouTube channel tomorrow, Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 a.m. BST. I don't know if you guys stay up that late. 3 a.m. BST with Rick Ucchino over on Smack Talk, which is their post show following WWE SmackDown. So I'll be on YouTube channel for 4 straight days. Yesterday, you could find me over on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel with the latest edition of Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy. We got here with Wrestling Travel on Thursday. We got Friday on Sportskeeda, and then Saturday, the True Heel Heat.
Excellent stuff there. Mad Dog Mike Angus, what about yourself? Where can we find you and what's coming up for you this week?
Yeah, guys, so you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all under Mad Dog Mike Angus or at Angus Mad Dog. The only things we didn't get to mention this week, it's 58 days till WrestleMania. We didn't get to mention too much of that. I'm sure we'll cover that next week. And also a shout out to Gronk, a 24/7 champion from last year. He got 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, which was awesome stuff. If anyone's a fan,
Justin didn't want you to mention that. He's still sore about the Packers.
Oh, was it? Sorry, just apologies. I was going to say to cheer him up a little bit, check out this week if you get a chance on the network. The APA documentary was great. And also, if you haven't watched the Yokozuna documentary, that was so good. That was one of the highlights of my week watching that. But just thanks for having me on as always, guys. And you can catch up with me on Powered 4 on Monday this week when we recap all the soccer action on Added Time with myself, Sonny, and John Scott, and also I believe Stewie is going to be there as well. So catch you guys then.
Danny, having a snack?
A quick nibble.
I'm over here trying to hold in my laughter because I see him.
He's not even off.
Try to do it as discreetly as possible, but obviously not. I was feeling a bit peckish there. I thought I could sneak it in, but obviously not. Justin, where can we find, of course, Wrestling Travel stuff, your stuff, on the platforms on the interweb?
Yeah, you want to find us at Wrestling Travel everywhere. We're verified. Check us out on Twitter. That's where you're going to keep the latest. My Twitter is at Clapper77. My new venture, well, it's not new. It's been going on for a while, but I'm very proud of it now on TikTok. It's at JC@WT. So spell it out, JCATWT. It's not me doing silly skits, but I got some pretty cool wrestling clips, traveling with wrestling travel, and that's some pretty cool music. And it's for some reason it's taken off. I will tell you, gentlemen, 19,000 followers right now. Ridiculous. And one of my videos, SB3, has 1.1 million views. If I would have,
is that your busted challenge? I heard you did the busted challenge.
I don't even know what that is, but should I do it?
Do it, mate.
I would love to see it. That would be the greatest video ever.
I'll look it up. I know I got one time I did the ice bucket challenge, and they left a lot of ice and not a lot of water and dumped it on me, and I think I got a concussion, and that might explain a lot of things. But I know we're debuting an awesome lockdown session today, but I'm going to tell you guys first. Danny knows this, but you too. We have in the books one of the biggest, and well, I'll just say we got a great guest lined up for the podcast next week, and the lockdown session will debut immediately after that. So really, really excited about that. I hesitate telling you because we're a week out and a lot of things could change, but right now we've got a fantastic guest lined up for next week. And like I said, follow us all on social media and tell us what you think, and tell us who you want to see on the lockdown sessions, who you want to see on the podcast, and we'll do our best to make it happen. So thank you, guys.
No, thank you very much there, JC. And we do have a lockdown session coming up immediately following this podcast at 6 p.m. UK time. And it will be with Heidi Katrina, who just did interviewed last week for a cheeky chinwag, I believe, as she called it. It was a very fun interview indeed. When I was editing it, a very good watch there between Justin and Heidi. So make sure you check that out on YouTube. Of course, head over to WrestlingTravel.org for all of our packages. WrestleMania 2022 in Dallas, Wrestle Kingdom 16 next January. Of course, we do have some codes that you're able to use to get some money off your package there through the Wrestling Observer. Alicia Toot and Alex McCarthy. Check out their socials for that information there. And also on the website now, you can sign up for WrestleMania 2023 to receive all the information first before the launch in 2 weeks from today. But gentlemen, thank you very much once again for joining us. And we hope you all stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of the week and weekend. And we'll see you next week.